Welcome to the Positive Productivity Podcast, episode number 29.
Welcome to Positive Productivity Podcast, where we empower our audience to achieve and appreciate personal and professional success, especially in the face of adversity. Listen in as our guests reveal their stories of challenges and hurdles and how they overcame defeat and became triumphant in their endeavors. Let's get motivated and move forward with your host, Kim Sutton.
Welcome back to another episode of Positive Productivity. This is your host, Kim Sutton. Today I'm going to talk to you about saying goodbye to the scarcity mindset. As we're living our lives, both personally and professionally, it can be really easy to get sucked into a frame of mind where we're always worrying about where the next dollar is going to come from. Sometimes it can feel like we have holidays and birthdays and big events around every single corner, and we wonder where we're going to come up with the money to pay for such events. What I found, however, is that when we are constantly worrying, we're shutting off our ability to focus on what we can do to raise money and are instead focusing on our lack of funds. While I am not discounting the importance of budgeting, because budgeting is very important, we cannot spend all of our time analyzing our bank account and our invoicing software and our bills rather than focusing on what we can be doing now and in this moment to make the most happen for ourselves. Everything I talk to you about on the Positive Productivity Podcast is something that I have dealt with or deal with on a very regular basis. And the scarcity mindset is one of these points. Just this weekend, my husband and I celebrated our 6-year anniversary of the day we met, and I had made reservations at the Melting Pot. I made those reservations a few weeks back in anticipation of the big day. As yesterday got closer, I started looking at the invoices that hadn't been paid and actually started questioning whether or not that was an expenditure that we really should be making right now. I asked myself if I should cancel that reservation and if we should instead go to a local restaurant that wasn't going to cost as much. And then it was almost as if I had a slap on the side of my head from another dimension. That slap said to me, "No, Kim, you and Dave need to go out for this dinner to celebrate your special day. You need to stop focusing on what you don't have and instead go out, enjoy your time, and wait for something good to come along." Now, that's not to say that I'm just going to sit here twiddling my thumbs, waiting for money to miraculously show up in my bank account. In fact, it's quite the opposite. In any given moment, you can find me working on probably more than one project, and I really need to work on eliminating multitasking from my work life. However, I am not just sitting here waiting for money to show up. I am working hard, and at least 75% of the time, I am focusing on making big things happen rather than on the money that I wish I had. There's a great story that I've heard quite a few times, and it's about a man who is stuck in a flood. He's on the roof of his house, and he prays to God to please send him some help. While he's sitting there, some rescuers in an inflatable raft come by, and they ask the gentleman if he needs some help, and he says, "No, God's sending me some," and they say okay, and they keep on going. A little while later, someone in a canoe comes by and asks if he needs help. And again, he says, "Nope, God's going to send me some help." More time passes and he becomes frustrated and he looks up at the sky and he says, "God, why aren't you sending me help?" And God shouts back down, "I have sent you help 2 times and both times you told them no." The point I'm trying to get to with that story is opportunities are always crossing our path. We need to stop focusing on what we don't have and focus on what we do and try to multiply it into something even better. Or if we don't need to multiply it on something better, we need to appreciate each and every moment and each and every possession that we have in our lives. It's very easy to watch television, read magazines, see billboards, listen to the radio, and get into a frame of mind of, I want. Today I want to challenge you that rather than being in the I want mode, be in the I'm thankful for mode. Be thankful for what you have in your life right now. An attitude of gratitude will quickly help remove you from the scarcity mindset. If you, my listeners, have any other suggestions that may help your fellow listeners remove themselves from the scarcity mindset, I would love if you would visit the website at thekimsutton.com/pp029 and leave your suggestions below the transcript. Remember, it's not about what we don't have, but instead about what we do have in our life already. Hey, this is Kim Sutton, host of the Positive Productivity Podcast, and I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed what you heard and you want to share with others, please feel free to do so. I'd also appreciate your comments, your reviews, your ratings, and you can do that on iTunes or Stitcher, or even by clicking through to my website at thekimsutton.com and just leave a comment down below the podcast. I also want to invite you to send me questions at any time that I can address on one of the future episodes. To send me a question to address on a future episode, just visit my website at thekimsutton.com and click on the contact tab at the top. Again, thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I wish you a day filled with positive productivity.